You found the STIHL National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe.
Big day, biggest weekend in air racing in these here United States. STIHL National Championship Air Races, and boy, we are racing one after the other today, making up for some lost time over the first 2 days. Mother Nature wasn't kind, but we are getting a good break today. We have seen so much racing in all 7 of our different classes so far, and we've got more to come. Much more to come, Rob Lowe.
Absolutely, Tommy, and we've had, look on the screen right now, we've had some close racing. This was a photo finish that I'm still not sure who they called as the winner of that jet heat, but it has been excitement all day long. We've got 14 races on the docket today, 5 air show events, and we are just in the midst of adrenaline-fueled racing, Tommy. It's awesome today.
Great crowd on hand here. Everyone kind of waiting all year. People coming from around the world. This is a destination for people who love aviation, who love air racing, who love air shows. All of that's here from all the eras, the legacy era, the modern era, and a look into the future as well. We're going back to the legacy of a trainer that certainly made history during the World War II years and beyond. And this is T-6. We got a good T-6 race coming up. This is Gold Class.
Gold Class, Tommy, you're absolutely right. And this is the most unique and historic class that we have. You can see our competitors taxiing out here, the pace plane out front with the red and white striped tail on it. And then our 6 competitors following behind that. Tommy, this was an advanced trainer. You'd go through some of the very initial trainers, but then you'd make your way into the T-6. They call it the pilot maker. Pace plane has acknowledged the takeoff clearance for runway 26. We've got the wind. Got a little bit of a crosswind. Wind appears to be gusting about 15 knots to me in my untrained eye, and a little bit off of T6, but plenty within the operational envelope of these amazing T6 airplanes. And here you see Chris rushing in Barron's Revenge in race 14 as we get started, and he's our top qualifier at about 237-ish knots. And
there he goes. He's our defending champion as well. How about 6 championships in T6 for this man from Tule Lake, California, Nick Macy, the 6 cat, probably the winningest of all time in the recent years of Reno.
And here's the aircraft. We had the in-cockpit cam on. That's just John Lomar, race 88, airplane he calls Radio Velocity out of Nokomis, Florida.
Champion in 2017 and 2018. Back to try to grab the gold one more time and allowing us to ride along with him in the cockpit.
And here's Joel Stinnett from Midnight Miss 3, race 43. He's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tommy, watch the gear go up. They don't always go up exactly together. The left one often closes a little bit quicker.
Here's Vic McMahon, Blaine Washington, gunslinger, AT-6A. His are not going up the same time either.
No, and that is exactly how the system was designed, Tommy. It's the way the mechanics work and the hydraulics work in that airplane, and those are performing exactly as expected.
Vitaly Pechersky, who moved up from the B class based on his victory earlier today, so he's in the gold class right now, and he's going to get a chance to grab the national championship if he can make it through tomorrow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw him earlier in that silver race, Tommy, like you said, that he dominated that, and that's what happens as we go through these heat races. You can bump up or bump down, and we're going to see them take off and gather up here in a minute, and they're going to come back and race our medium 5-mile course. We're going to do 5 laps, speeds ranging in the 235, 230 mile an hour range. For this class, this is the gold class, and there you get a good look at those 9-foot-long Hamilton standard propellers. Constant speed props. You can see the mechanism that allows them to turn. They are going to start airborne. You can see them side by side here in some of the previous footage. And here's our graphic. Tommy, you see the pace plane on the right of your screen that's red. They're going to be line abreast, and as they come from west to east and approach our home pylon, the STIHL start-finish line, that's where the race will start. They have to stay in their lane until that point, and then right there the race is on. You can see them begin to maneuver, and they head their way around all 7 pylons of our medium-sized 5-mile course. Now here's the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Third-person view of a T-6 down on the course, down low, passing the STIHL home pylon right there. Headed for pylon number 1. And you can see the airport and the runways passing by underneath the simulation here. And our folks at Microsoft have done just a fantastic job, and the folks at JM Productions in producing this and make this realistic view available for us.
Bear in mind that one of the most oft-told stories about this craft is back in the training days when the pilots would eventually land in their assigned aircraft for their position, they would say it's much easier to fly. So this was the challenge. A challenge is what makes a great pilot, as you've mentioned many times.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some very famous pilots that when they got to P-51s or P-40s went back to their old instructors and said, why didn't you let me fly this first? It's way easier than the T-6. Well, and like we talked earlier, Tommy, the T-6 is historic aircraft. You're looking out the windshield right here. It was so vital in the development of our airmen, and frankly, us being able to win the greatest generation, winning World War II and producing the freedoms that we enjoy in America that allow us to be in Reno for the 58th National Championship air races and do fun stuff like this on a Saturday afternoon.
This is a salty group of pilots right here. I can tell you, these guys are the pros. We've got so many national championships represented among these pilots, including our last year's winner, Chris Rushing.
This week has been, a challenge for everybody. With the smoke coming in every day, it was just hard to predict what the schedule was going to be like. So the word for this week was flexibility. We get ready to fly and then you wait, and sometimes that's harder than flying. But, we're all professionals, we all respect each other, so we're ready to fly when the time comes.
I think the thing about it is it was kind of an unknown factor. When we got here, it was pretty smoky, and there's not much we could do unless we have the visibility to get on the course and be safe. So we just had to wait around and see what was going to happen, and there's nothing anybody can do. You just got to be prepared and be in the right state of mind and get ready to go.
Forward 14.
Those are just small adjustments the pace plane's making to get them lined up. Smoke's on the pace plane.
2022 T-6 racers are inbound for the course. Bringing down 43.
That's just air show smoke on our pace plane.
Good shot, 66.
And again, you hear those small adjustments. He's moving them up, moving them back, getting them lined up for a fair start. Great shot out of the in-cockpit cam. There goes our pace plane, Tommy. We got a race. Let's listen to him come by here in the first race. 6 competitors. Here we go. Wow, that is awesome.
Oh,
Tommy, we've only got 5 airplanes up there at the moment, and we'll figure out who is pulled up out of the race here in just a second. But we'll watch, and Chris Rushing in Barron's Revenge looks to be out front there in the just as expected.
Yeah, Nick Macy, race number 6, and John Lomar, 2nd and 3rd, as it stands right now.
And in the red and white, Joel Stinnett looks to be in 4th. And looks like McMahon in the black and white race 66 at the back. So it looks like we might have Vitaly
had a scratch
Pechersky
from Pechersky, possibly.
Yep, possibly.
Yeah, we'll learn about that.
So we continue to watch our leader coming around pylons 4 and now 5 as he heads down the far west end of the course for this very first lap.
This is the gold race. This is the top of the class in T6.
Tommy, here comes that sound headed back to our folks in the stands. We're going to get to see and listen to these aircraft come by here by the steel start-finish line pylon. Well, they look to be fairly evenly matched, Tommy, in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we see our leader headed up to the far northeast portion of the course, and he's dropping down to just above the 50-foot minimum altitude.
That is Chris Rushing from Thousand Oaks, California, stepping out just a little bit. Got a little bit of separation from the other 4 at this point.
Tommy, where else in the world can you see a split screen shot where you see a live view out of John Lomar's plane and a view of the live leader up there? I mean, the coverage and the folks at the Reno Air Race Association and JM Productions are just doing fantastic work for us here online today.
Doing everything we can to put you in the cockpit, let you experience it. A lot of people would prefer to be here, and I sure understand that.
Let's listen to our leader come by our pylon. he comes around pylon 6 and 7. Again, they're flying our medium length 5-mile course. They're going to do 5 laps. We're on lap 2, just about to complete that here with our leader, as you see him on the left side of your screen.
Race 14, Chris Rushing. There's Nick Macy in second place, the veteran from Tule Lake, California.
And again, you continue to see John Lomar in the in-cockpit cam there. He's holding down 3rd place for us, and we watch our leader headed as he heads around the far north. Carson going to start that back straightaway on the far north end of the course here. But these speeds are around 235 miles an hour, Tommy, right now in this gold class. So this is about kind of the max speed for this class. And they all look to be fairly evenly matched, just as we thought. They've actually spread out a little bit more than I thought they might. But they all seem to be fairly evenly matched. Nobody really is gaining on anybody at this point. But we're only about halfway through the race, Tommy. So there may be some strategy yet to come.
Yeah, there's inside and outside the cockpit with John Lomar right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, what a beautiful airplane against this desert backdrop. And Tommy, we're so grateful the smoke is cleared out. We get a great shot. And we're going to get to listen in here as John comes towards our pylon cam out here by pylon number 6. Let's listen in, listen to that fantastic Pratt & Whitney engine. Is so cool, Tommy. That is so cool. Man, you got to like that. Tips of those Hamilton 9-foot standard metal props going supersonic, and the rumble of that Pratt & Whitney 9-cylinder engine is just uncomparable to anything else you'll experience in the aviation world.
Our full field now into the 4th lap of 5.
There's John Lomar again. You get the inside and outside version there. We're going to jump back to our leader. That Chris Rushing in Barron's Revenge has jumped out front. Tommy, he had the pole. He was the start, and he's just held it the entire time. He appears to be flying a very fluid, very solid race here.
Absolutely. That is a big elite, as you will see in a T-6 race right there. That is remarkable.
He really has, and part of that is not just the performance of his airplane, Tommy, but he is flying a very static and very consistent flight around these pylons. Very well done by Chris Rushing here this afternoon.
Owing to the weather, this is the first chance this gold class has had to race here this week. So as we go for the white flag for our leader there, Chris Rushing.
Final lap, Tommy. There's another good look at John Lomar as he brings his way home to the start-finish line, and for his 1-lap indication with the white flag continuing to fly. Comes our leader headed around the far northeast part of the course. We'll listen to him on that pylon cam. There you go. You hear that? Wow. What a historic thing. I mean, this is just history, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you think about there's only a little over 150 of these aircraft flying in the world, and we're seeing 5 of them at the moment. Shoulder to shoulder, closed course pylon racing. This doesn't happen anywhere in the world but here, where the fastest motorsport on the planet exists, in Reno National Championship air races.
And 5 of the most decorated ones as far as air racing goes, for sure.
Well, for the last time, there comes our leader, Barron's Revenge, in the AT-6 B model. He comes out of Thousand Oaks, California. That's Mr. Chris Rushing. Great look at him flying right into your living room here, Tommy, as he makes that final turn, heads for home.
In control all the way, Chris Rushing. Race 14, Barron's Revenge is your winner.
And here comes 3rd place, John Lomar on the screen, both inside and outside as he comes to the finish line.
He wraps it up in 3rd.
Nice job.
Good stuff.
And here in 4th, red and white Joel Stinnett out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, race 43. And behind him, race 66, Gunslinger, Mr. Vic McMahon finishing the race. Tommy, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, Nick Macy finished in 2nd place. We didn't get to see him cross the start-finish line, but he was starting 2nd, finished in 2nd for the 6-time champ here.
There's a great look at what happens. You can see the airport off to the left there out of John Lomar's cockpit. They pop up off the course, begin to circle back. You can see the throttles coming back a little bit. They're going to cool those engines down a little, make their way back into the landing pattern, and come back to the airport to land. But let's go back and take a look, Tommy, at what we saw during the race.
Here was the start. Sent it onto the airplane. As you see the pace plane going up into the deep blue, and we had our race underway. Chris Rushing, the top qualifier, wasted no time getting out front. Well, he was out front, but getting further out front.
Here's one of the first times by our desert pylon cams, Tommy, that we got to hear these beautiful airplanes come by and see how fast they are down low over the desert. Some fantastic shots here, and this is our leader, Chris Rushing, who had the pole. He was our top qualifier, as you said, Tommy. He got out in front, and he stayed there, and eventually our unofficial winner in race 14. We talked earlier about the consistent line that he flew, the turns near the pylons, not taking the chance of cutting, but he also wasn't giving anybody any extra room. He stayed in tight. And there was John Lomar in the beautiful blue and yellow airplane. We got to see that both inside and outside all day, which was a fantastic opportunity. And there you see the pylon. You see that go right by the wingtip. That's how close it is. And our judges stand out there and look up through those to make sure we don't cut. And then there goes by our leader by the home pylon one more time. Here's another great look at it.
Just never veered from the perfect line all the way around this course 5 times in a row, and that's how you do it. Want any inefficiencies, any unnecessary air travel during the course of one of these winning efforts.
And there he is there taking the checkered flag in the unofficial first stop. And you can see the crowds that are out here on Saturday, Tommy, as we go over our unofficial results.
Chris Rushing, defending champ, race 14. In first, unofficially, with Barron's Revenge. Nick Macy, 6-time winner in 6 Cat. Race number 6 in second. John Lomar, race 88, Radial Velocity. Joel Stennett in fourth. Race 43, Midnight Miss 3. The Gunslinger, race 66 with Vic McMahon in fifth, and we'll have to see what happened to Vitaly Pechersky, apparently scratched before we got underway. Vitaly had moved up from Class B just today.